Today, we are listening to a segment prepared specifically for someone like you who is interested in learning new things. Yes, absolutely. We are discussing a very fascinating topic today. That is right. Just imagine a time period without microscopes or ultrasound scanning machines. During that era, an ancient text describes, step by step, how a human is formed in the darkness of the womb. And it does so with an accuracy that even surprises modern medical science today. It feels like a wonder just hearing about it, doesn't it? Yes, today in this deep dive, we are going to examine the significant verses 12 to 14 of Surah Al-Mu'minun, which portray the microscopic stages of fetal development with great precision. Our goal today is to understand the precise and clear stages of human formation hidden within these 3 verses. Yes, okay. Let's examine this in detail. Usually when we think about ancient texts that are centuries old, we expect grand philosophical principles or the like. That is right. We expect advice or historical accounts. But what we are about to see here is akin to reading a highly precise biological medical blueprint. That is, a blueprint of how to build a human. To be precise, this is a description that aligns perfectly with the findings of modern science, specifically the branch of embryology. Oh, with embryology itself? Yes, beyond philosophical matters. This source speaks to us about a purely physical process, one that we can observe. That is correct. So before we look at how a human develops in the mother's womb, let's see what this text says about the very first fundamental origin of mankind. Naturally, that is the first step. The verse begins like this: وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ. That is, and we created man from an extract of clay. But wait, could you clarify this? When you say extract of clay, doesn't it sound like a typical ancient legend? Yes, it might seem so. Most ancient cultures have myths about humans being created from earth or clay. So what is so scientific about this? That question is very relevant. At first glance, it might seem like an ancient metaphor to you. However, we must understand the precise meaning of the Arabic expression sulalatin min tin used here. Sulala, right? What does that mean? The word sulala here means the most important part extracted from a large mass, or the essence. In English, we say extract. Oh, so the verse isn't saying that someone just took some mud, mixed it, and made a human? No, not at all. The scientific aspect here is revealed when we examine the basic chemical composition of the human body. That is, the elements in our body. Yes, oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium. Phosphorus, the same basic elements found in the Earth's crust, are also present in the human body. Wow, that is true. It underscores that the foundations of a human begins from an essence that is very precisely extracted from the elements of the Earth. Oh, so this isn't just a job of picking up dirt from the road and mixing it. This reminds me of manufacturing computer processors. That's a good example. Can you explain how, to build a microchip, we don't just take some dirt and throw it in a machine? Rather, we extract the highest quality silicon and other rare elements from the Earth, and then purify them to create that chip. Yes, exactly. So the basis of a human is a collection of the best raw materials in the universe. That is a very precise analogy. After the origin of man from the extract of these raw materials, this verse takes a huge leap. A huge leap? To where it focuses. Coming to individual growth, right? Yes, that is what is meant by ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاهُ نُطْفَةً فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ. This explains the nutfa stage and how it is established in a safe place, قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ. Nutfa means a very small drop of life, right? Yes, a drop. I have a doubt here. Is it not a known fact, even to people of that time, that the male sperm is a drop? A drop reaching the womb is not such a great scientific revelation, is it? That is where we need to note the second expression in that verse. It doesn't just say a drop. It says that the drop is placed in Qararin Mekin, that is, a deeply established, highly secure resting place. A highly secure place. Yes, biologically, this is a great wonder, because for the millions of sperm that reach the female body, it is a great battle. Acidic conditions, attacks by white blood cells. A large percentage of sperm are destroyed there. Yes, it is a major survival race. Certainly, only one sperm eventually joins the egg to form the zygote, but it doesn't end there. Then what? If this formed embryo is not accurately established in the uterine wall, that is, if implantation does not occur, it will be lost. Do you know how complex and secure a womb is in modern anatomy? It is a very sensitive organ, right? Yes, there is no better word than Quranic makin to describe the uterine wall, which maintains the precise temperature while protecting the embryo from any external shocks. Between the mother's muscles and bones. Wow, hearing this, some of you might think this is a simple process, but I see it in another way. How so? It is like a spacecraft leaving Earth, traveling through adverse conditions and meteor showers, and finally landing precisely on a pre-prepared, most secure landing pad on another planet. Yes, a good comparison. If it doesn't anchor precisely on the landing pad, the mission fails. That landing pad is the uterine wall we are talking about. What precision! Yes, it is in that safe place that truly astonishing structural changes occur. The next verse explains the mechanism of how a human is formed. That is, how it happens. That 14th verse, right? Yes, Thumma. خلقنا نطفة علقة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا المضغة إذاما فكسونا الإذام لحما. It doesn't just say it grows. Instead, it precisely names the microscopic transformations of that growth. This is the really interesting part. In this verse, it first says that the nutfa becomes an alaka. Yes, alaka. Based on my reading, alaka means something that clings or a leech. That is correct. Wait, comparing an embryo to a leech is a bit extreme, isn't it? It feels a little scary just hearing it. Why is this word used there? Though it may seem surprising, biologically, it is the most accurate word. We talked about the implantation process, where the embryo clings to the uterine wall. Yes, anchoring to the landing pad. At this stage, root-like structures called syncytial thiophoblasts grow from the embryo into the uterine wall. Okay, and like a leech sucking blood, the embryo begins to draw nutrients directly from the mother's blood vessels. In appearance, the embryo at this stage also looks like a leech. Does it look exactly like a leech under a microscope? Yes, exactly. Not only that, the word alaka also means suspended or hanging. How else can one describe the state of an embryo hanging in the amniotic fluid of the womb? Via the umbilical cord? Wow, it feels like I'm listening to a medical professor teaching a class using a microscope. Yes, it is that precise. So both in appearance and function, it is exactly like a leech. Listeners, just think about this. How would someone living in the desert in the 7th century know? The microscopic nature of an embryo in a mother's womb? That is indeed a big question. Yes, okay. So what is the next stage? Next, it says that the alaka becomes a mudga. Mudga means a chewed-like lump of flesh. Chewed meat? Yes, chewed lump in English. If we chew a piece of gum and spit it out, won't we see the marks of our teeth on it? Exactly that state. I am asking the same question again. Why compare the formation of a human baby to a chewed lump of flesh with tooth marks? Doesn't it feel a bit strange? If you know the biological mechanism, you will be truly shocked. When the embryo is about 4 weeks old, its size is only 4 or 5 millimeters. Very small, yes. At this time, on the back of the embryo, where the spine will be in the future, small blocks, called somates, begin to form. Oh, do bones come from these somates? Yes, the spine and muscles are developed from these somates. If you look at a 4-week-old embryo through a microscope, these somates look exactly like the impressions of teeth pressed into a piece of meat. Oh, so that's the tooth marks. Yes, and it is a soft piece of meat without bones. That is why it is called mudga, or a chewed lump of flesh. Doesn't it surprise you to hear this? It is incredible to call the structure of an embryo only a few millimeters in size a chewed lump of flesh, definitely. For those who thought this was just imagination in a time without scanning machines, today's science gives a precise answer. Now, what happens after this? The next change from this lump of flesh is the most important. From it, Edom are created. Finally, the verse says that these bones are covered with lam. That is, first bones, then flesh. Yes, This is the process of mesoderm differentiation in embryology. The cells in the embryo divide into several layers, in which cartilage first forms, creating the framework of a skeleton. Only after the model of these bones is complete do muscle cells called myoblasts come and cover those bones. That is, bones first, flesh second. This is a very easy process to understand. It is like watching a time-lapse 3D printing video. 3D printing. How so? That is, when 3D printing a complex structure. It first builds the solid frame or scaffolding inside. The bones in our body are that scaffolding. That is right. Only after that is complete does the 3D printer build the walls, i.e. the muscles on top of it. The highlight is the chronological order that bones and flesh are not created together. Certainly, that arrangement is very precise. The sentence covering the bones with flesh after they are formed points to the most important law of physical construction. The physical construction of a human body is almost complete there, yes, everything we have discussed so far was like reading a medical textbook. Biology, anatomy, cell division, everything is extremely scientific. Yes, completely physical things. But suddenly, here, the verse performs a major gear, shifting. The last part of the 14th verse takes us to another level. The verse continues by saying there is one final stage. Thumma anshanahu khalqan ahar. Fatabarakallahu ahsanul khaliqin. Yes, that is a very beautiful line. It says, then we developed him into another creation. What I don't understand is, after so many biological explanations, what is really meant by this another creation? This is a shift from a discussion about the physical to something existential. Existential? What we have seen so far is biological growth. Drop, blood clot, lump of flesh, bone, flesh. These are all automated. Constructions of a biological body, yes, to tell the truth. Up to this stage, there isn't much difference between a human embryo and the embryos of many other mammals. Oh, is that so? Yes, but the word another creation refers to the transformation from that mere biological body of bone and flesh into an independent human being with thought, consciousness, and emotions. The soul is breathed into him. So that is when we become a real human. Certainly, a completely unique human, being capable of thinking, using language, enjoying art, and learning about the universe from a mere lump of flesh. Perhaps the moment consciousness is formed, which science still cannot fully explain. When I hear this, I feel like giving an example related to computer science, because that is where the difference between biology and existence becomes clear. Please do tell. Everything that happened in the womb until then was excellent hardware, assembling, using a 3D printer, the processor, RAM, motherboard, and circuits were all fitted perfectly. The physical structure of a supercomputer is standing there. Completely, yes, but even if we switch it on, there is no life in it. Because there isn't, that moment where an operating system is installed and the system boots for the first time, right? That is this another creation. No matter how perfect the hardware is, it is worthless without that software. When a personality with thoughts enters a body with bone and flesh, only then does he truly become a human. That is a very thought-provoking analogy. That is where the limitations of biology end and the essence of man begins. Yes, that is why the verse, which spoke of mere physical construction, ends with the beautiful declaration exalting him as the best of creators by elevating him to another creation. The incredible beauty of that. Perfection is revealed there. Okay, so let's summarize this amazing journey we talked about today. It started from the essence of clay containing rare elements of the earth, and it turned into a drop in a safe place, surviving the most adverse conditions of the mother's womb. That journey begins there. Later, it developed into a blood clot clinging like a leech to the uterine wall, and then into a chewed-like lump of flesh with tooth marks. Yes, alaka and mudga. From that, strong bones were formed in precise chronological order, and those bones were beautifully covered with flesh. Finally, it transforms from a mere animal body into another creation with consciousness and thought. Truly, this is a scientific manual written centuries ago. that shocks even today's modern medical science. Certainly, this is not a mere description of human formation, but these verses provide a precise copy of the most complex engineering in the universe. Listener, you have been hearing about yourself. Have you noticed? You have a very deep connection with this subject more than anyone else in this universe. Yes, this is the story of everyone listening. Because the next time you look in the mirror, you are not just seeing a mere form. You are a great wonder that has come through the most subtle engineering with an evolutionary history of billions of years. Certainly, every human being on Earth, including you who is listening and me who is speaking, has come through these same precise and arduous stages. This reminds us of a deep and beautiful similarity between us humans. No matter how different our language, politics, or nation may be, our beginnings and construction stages are the same. You said something very true. So, before this deep exploration ends today, just think about one thing. Remember the expression, another creation, we talked about at the end? If your mere physical growth was something that proceeded with such precision and subtlety, without a single mistake, how great would be the complexity of the non-physical things like your thoughts, your personality, and your memories that make you you? That is a big question. How much more wonderful is the software working inside than that hardware? Isn't it goosebump-inducing to think about how you reached this amazing form of a conscious being? Starting from the essence of that primordial clay, you can continue these investigations and thoughts on your own. Recognize that another creation within you. Let us meet again with a new topic and a new investigation. Think correctly, continue your exploration.